I got to get rid of this motorcycle. It caused me a lot of trouble, got me in a lot of trouble. Got to get rid of it. And I had a friend that went to Colorado and come back, and he said, guess what? I found that we can ride our bikes and serve the Lord. And we got into the CMA and started serving. And we was in it for a few years before really the vision of CMA, I got a hold of it. And I've been, well, you can tell by the way I talk that I'm a born and raised Southerner. Yeah. South side of Akron, Ohio, but I've been down here for almost 14 years now. And I say, if I'd have knew it was so nice down here and you didn't have anything to shovel, I'd have moved a long time ago. Because talked to my wife's brother the other day, and he said they ain't been out of the house in 3 days because they can't get out the house. The snow's up past the door and can't get out. So I love it. This cold weather isn't nothing as long as there ain't nothing to shovel. But we got into the CMA down here, and I started traveling around with a guy called Band-Aid Bill, doing first aid work at these rallies. Now, I'll tell you, when you do first aid on somebody and you're fixing a cut and they're sitting in that chair, they can't get up and run away from you. So you can witness to them. Tell them all about Jesus. And a lot of times, though, the first thing they're going to ask you when they get up from you taking care of their cut or something is, what do I owe you? Don't owe me a thing. Why not? Glad you asked. And but it's been a great experience. Like Jeff said, this is a family. If you have anything you need and you tell them about it, man, they're right there to pray for you and lift you up. And CMA has been a great organization. Mr. Drew over there, there's over 140,000 members of CMA now. Drew's number is 400 and something? 407. So, he's been in it for a while. And the opportunities to witness to people is terrific. Like Chris said, wherever we go, we wear this patch. And people don't like to travel with me and my wife when we go somewhere because we ride a trike, which is another novelty for people. And we go in somewhere, stop to eat, and come out, and there's people all standing around, looking at our bike, wanting to know, what do you do? Why, So we got to talk to them because before we leave, last thing we do when we get on that bike, before we turn the key on, is say, Lord, we're on our way, and if there's anybody out there that needs a word from you, if they come across our path, we're going to talk to them. We went 1 year from here, we went to Marietta, Ohio for a state rally. We drive up, we're originally from Ohio, about 6 hours, go from here to the Ohio River. Took us almost 9 hours. The people with us said, we ain't going with you no more. You people just don't know how to go somewhere. You don't stop and talk to everybody on the way. I said, yeah, if God tells you to stop and talk, you stop and talk. But it's been a terrific experience. Love the CMA, love what they do, and it's been great. Miss Becky?
I wanted to say thank you today, and thank y'all for having us here. I've been a CMA member ever since 7 years now. 8 years ago, my husband came home. He wanted to buy a motorcycle. I said, you want to do what? He said, I want to buy a motorcycle. I said, I ain't riding it. Well, we was at church one day, and somebody preached about how a spouse can take the joy away from their spouse. And I'm like, oh, Lord, you talking about me. So Lord victed me, and now I ride on the back of his motorcycle. And then he said, I want to go to some of these rallies. I said, not with me. And he said, yes, with you. I said, I don't think so. So the Lord spoke to me again. He said, you need to go out there. You need to tell these people about my love that I have for them. But see, I was afraid to go because I was like, okay, Lord, I'll testify and I'll tell these people about your love, but can't you bring them in the church? Can't I tell them in the church? Do I have to go out there? Can't I tell them in the church? He said, no, honey, you need to go out there. You need to tell them out there. And the reason why I was afraid to go is because I was abused when I was a child. When the courts finally took me away from my parents, I was raped when I was 13 years old. So for me to go out there, it was scary. But the Lord told me, he said, I'm going to be with you. He said, I was with you when you was a kid. I was with you when you was raped. I'm going to be with you out there too. Because you don't know, it might be another child out there that's being abused. It might be another woman out there that's been raped when she was a child. And so the Lord is going to use me that way. I just have to let him use me. So we've been doing it for 7 years now, and I won't change a thing. It is so great, and I just praise his name for letting me do this. I would like to recognize Bobby right now. He's our president.
Thank you, Rebecca. Well, you've heard and seen just a little bit about what CMA does. I mean, it's just a small part. We have so much other things that we do. We minister in music. We have children's ministries. We have a mechanical ministry. We have hospitality. And we're working on a prison ministry for our chapter. I like what Drew said, that we're missionaries to bikers. CMA also has a heart for missions around the world. We do one fundraiser every year, and it's called Run for the Sun. And all of our members, we get sponsors to sponsor us on a 100-mile ride that takes place on the first Saturday of May every year. And we'll do this 100-mile ride. We'll turn our money in. All of our money goes to Hatfield. Last year, I think CMA raised over $4 million for missions. This is one of the very few fundraisers where 100% of the money, every penny, goes back into missions. None of it goes to pay any salaries or to run CMA. 40% of that money stays here to help us be able to minister to bikers here in the United States, which buys our tracks and stuff. 60% of that money is divided up among 3 other ministries. One of those is called Open Doors. CMA has helped them buy 1.3 million Bibles. And what they do is they smuggle Bibles into countries where they do not allow the Christians to be at, like in Russia, North Korea, Somalia, Afghanistan, and China. They get these Bibles into these people. They smuggle them into the prisons there. I've heard testimonies of prisoners, they don't have paper, so they'll get toilet paper, and they'll actually write the scriptures down on toilet paper and pass it out through the prison. That's how they get their word over there. There's other stories of where they'll take different books of the Bible and tear it out and hand it out to somebody else. They'll take it home, read it, they'll bring it back, they'll exchange it for another book. So Open Doors is working to try to get Bibles into everybody's hands that's in their language. So, CMA is partnering with the Open Doors. The other one is called Missionary Ventures. What they do is they provide transportation for qualified pastors. You have a pastor who may be in, Nicaragua somewhere, he may have